All right, yes, back again. Another match day review. Oh, I got a good one this time. I'm just missing out on this one, but super excited. I can barely contain myself right now. What a win! What a game! Probably the best game I've seen all year. Not just from you, just like this is the best game I've seen, end to end stuff. What a performance by the lads. I'm gushing right now. I'm feeling good. Noah, how you feeling today? How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you, Cam. Yeah, new year, new Manchester United, and what a great start to the new year. Top performance. Yeah, I'm buzzing, as you said. Just can't. It's a mixed emotion of like happy and just disbelief. Because if you look back where we were and how quite a lot of people were feeling a couple months ago, to like this kind of situation, like would we be in this kind of place? It's some would say a miracle, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has proved everyone wrong, and it's amazing. But we'll get into that, I'm sure, like later on in the show.
It's a perfect segue because actually that's how I want to start the show. Is
Okay, right.
I want the show to start with us giving praise to one of our legends, to a man who. Oh, let me get Bob's in here. Bring it in, Bob's. What's up, Bob's? What's up?
Guys, do you remember that song? Heartbreaks and promises. I've had more than my share.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it. Oh man, yo, sorry I'm late, man. Happy New Year to you, Noah. Cam, Happy New Year again, bro.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Listen, man, bro. It's. Do you know what? Yeah, like, it's. Do you know what? I compared this to my cousins. Yeah, my cousins were like, "How the hell are you joint taught?" And I was like, "Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's like when we were younger, and I'm the youngest, and we play Tekken on the PlayStation. But I'm supposed to be useless, but I'm beating everyone that's older than me. That's the only thing. It's like you think, what the hell's happening here? But it's happening. And I don't know how we've done it. Well, I do know how we've done it, but we're not even playing amazing. Like, we're not even showing, we're not blitzing teams away, guys. Do you know what I mean? We're winning, and that's it.
That's it, and that's all you need to do. And I wanted to start the show. Glad you came in because I definitely know you're a big Ollie supporter as well. I want to gas the manager. I want to talk about the fact that we have finally got a manager who is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Who has come in when he came in? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. One of my favorite quotes was, "I'm going to be a success here. I'm going to be successful at Manchester United." That energy we are now seeing. He said, "I'm going to get rid." He's like, there's a lot of men out there who aren't going to be wearing the shirt in 10, 12 months' time. Pereira, gone. Lingard, haven't seen him on the pitch. Bill Jones, where's he? Marcus Rowe, all those, they may still be on the team, but when he made that comment, he meant they're not going to be near the team. I'm going to change the culture. I'm going to bring in winning. I'm going to change the way we play. We're going to get back to the way we play. Like you're saying, you're right. We're not blitzing teams, but we're attacking. We're doing this on the front foot. We're not just sitting back every game and it's a counterattack game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has taken more points. And Bob's, actually, I'm gonna let you speak about it because you sent the graphic. You're the one who's talking about it. Like, talk about how many points he's been taking, and since November, since whenever. Talk about the manager. I'll let you go.
So basically, let me get up for you. Actually, 2 seconds. So since Premier League, since November the 7th, right? We've collected 26 points. We're top. We've had 8 wins. We're top of that rank. We've had 24 goals. We've scored 24 goals. We're first in that rank. We've had 65 shots on target. We're first in that rank.
65 shots on target.
65 shots on target, right? Now, check this out, guys, yeah? We can talk about the Champions League, blah, 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 rat-a-tat-tat, but listen, yeah? He has now given us a reaction, okay? He's given us a reaction. And what did Fergie always do? There'll be a reaction. Okay, we lost today, but trust me, these boys will come good. And the thing about Ollie is because see what I just want to quickly say, guys. For some reason, society loves an estatic entertainment manager. They want to see Pep. Benitez used to wave the fingers and do the cut and the shapes, as we say in Scotland. They love Klopp, blah, blah. But because Ollie doesn't do any of that, he has no appeal. He has no
with his legs crossed.
I'm serious. Because think about it. I hear people say, "Oh, He's not like Klopp, though. He's not in the touchline. So what? Walter Smith used to sit in the stands, mate, and he used to win title after title. Shut your mouth. do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't get this whole when Mourinho used to be crazy on the sidelines and doing stuff. Right, the pundits would come out and be like, "Oh, it's a distraction, this and that." And Mourinho has he's always said it. He's like, "I can't get away with what Klopp does." We see Ollie. I can't. It was the last game where Ollie was yelling at the lads, so push, go forward, push, but the camera wasn't on him doing that. The media knows what they're doing. They don't want to show that because that doesn't make the story. It's
exactly.
It's Ollie sitting staring at the camera, and I love watching him look at the screen because when he's looking at that screen, you can tell he's looking for how he can change the game. I get what he's doing there, and I understand why he has to then go down and make those changes when he goes to the touchline because it does give the players energy. But there's nothing wrong with what he does when he manages, and he's shown direct improvement, and not just how he manages, because again, not one of our players has come out and said, I'm not playing enough. Everybody's happy. I know winning cures all that, but there's always going to be the guys in the team who look, Martial could have hung his head. AWB knows that we're looking at other players. There's a lot of things that could be happening. And with that being said, Noah, one thing I wanted to get to, and I wanted you to talk about it, AWB today, going forward, looked like a fullback, looked like a proper attacking fullback, not just a He made one mistake on the defensive end, which is fine. I can forgive. But going forward, Noah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, he really looked like a player who knew that there's been some interest from Manchester United and other fullbacks. I don't know if you guys have heard, but the past few days, United have been looking around the likes of Max Aarons, Kieran Trippier, and those guys. And those guys are really, renowned for their attacking prowess, getting crosses into the box, making themselves available out wide and making good runs in behind. And that was one thing I really noticed with Wan-Bissaka's play today that was superb. And I hope he keeps doing that for Manchester United, because as we saw, there was two key instances when he did. Obviously, it was for the goal, which was, a superb cross into the box for Anthony Martial. Great header by Martial as well to get their real striker's instinct, which was great to see, and lovely header low into the corner past Emi Martinez. But there was one where Paul Pogba, from the ball that Wan-Bissaka played, which I'll talk about, he left it and Fred took a shot and it went over. Obviously, that wasn't great. But what was great to see was that Bruno Fernandes was out wide. And usually what Wan-Bissaka does for Manchester United when he's there is he'll try and either come back and look to someone like Fred or McTominay or the defensive midfielder. And instead of charging at the fullback like a normal attacking right back or left back does, he'll go backwards because he doesn't feel comfortable. Yep. And that's one thing I've noticed.
Or he lays it off for somebody else to put in the box. I've noticed that a lot too.
But the one thing he did for Bruno in that move is that he was bold. He looked much more confident, and he made a run in between two defenders, which Bruno picked out. And then, he picked out a lovely ball into Paul Pogba, which obviously he left for Fred. And if that was Fred leaving it for Paul Pogba, that could have been a goal. And if that would have been a goal, we would have been talking about that for months, honestly, because it was such a good intuition for someone who has been renowned as not a great attacking right back, but he was superb. And a couple other stats as well that was really good for him today. 92% pass accuracy, 8 out of 8 ball recoveries, 4 out of 4 tackles, 3 out of 4 dribbles, which is something really impressive to show his attacking ability. 2 out of 2 interceptions, 2 key passes, and as we said, the one assist for the goal for Anthony Martial's headed a chance against Emi Martinez. And I think whilst I do believe that for the longevity of the season, Solskjaer should probably look at getting a right back, maybe someone like Max Aarons or Derek Lamptey from Brighton, someone like that to because as we've seen with the other fullback, Luke Shaw tonight, he was absolutely superb. And I think the competition that he's got from Alex Telles has really given him that drive to play 8 out of 9 out of 10 performances week in, week out. I think Wan-Bissaka does need that because he did play good tonight, but he does need that drive and that competition. Because he needs that in the back of his mind to think, if I'm not playing well tonight, or I'm not playing well the next game, I could easily get dropped for someone like Lamptey or Max Aarons or something like that. But he had a fantastic game, and he deserves big praise as one of the other defenders. I'm sure we'll get onto Eric Bailly.
Exactly. Yes, that's a good segue because our defense looked again astute today. It's starting to look strong as a whole unit, the whole back five. And before I talk about Ike,
why is that though? Why is that? because they're playing more games together.
Exactly. And you look at somebody like the one player who everybody was saying needs to be dropped or replaced, to David De Gea. I got to give this man his flowers. I've always been, for me, because unlike you guys, in North America, you barely could watch the games way back when or whatnot. David De Gea was the best player I got to watch when I really was like in the 2010s, probably when I really got into the game and into Man United. And David De Gea used to impress me day in and day out. So when I started seeing people call for him because of a few like these mistakes last year, it was depressing me because I'm like, yo, this is like my favorite player, basically. I love him. And what he did today again is starting to show. That one save from Ollie Watkins, that one just got the left hand up and over. That is such an underrated save. That and the McGinn one. Those two saves that were complete just reactionary saves because McGinn took it on the volley. He didn't take a touch or anything. Just boom, one touch. And to have David De Gea was keen to it. And I'm starting to see the assuredness in his play, not just because of it seems like his reaction time's back. It seems like his confidence is back. But now it seems like he's more confident in the men in front of him. And the men in front of him, which we've been saying for time, I think any smart United fan knows that BAILLY is probably our best defender based on just his raw ability and skills. And I'm not taking away from Maguire because I love Maguire, but BAILLY with the athleticism and his ability to play the ball, the only thing that kills BAILLY is his rashness. But today, Bobs, tell me about BAILLY. Talk about BAILLY. Let's see.
I just, you know what? I just think, like, guys, my background, I played football. I was full time. I moved from London to Scotland to play football, right? And, football's all about partnerships, okay? One of the first bits of education you get when you get football, it's all about partnership. I played centre midfield. It was about having a partnership with the guy, understanding building a rapport and a relationship of knowing what they do and stuff. Now, if you accept and acknowledge what your partner is good at, and you also accept and respect what he's not good at. And I see Harry Maguire, and I think Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles could tell you he needs pace beside him, an athletic player. Now, think about Eric Bailly is that he is the king of Wakanda in my eyes. He is athletic. He can play football. Okay, he's rash. Okay, but we accept that. However, he has pace to burn. And what's so good to see him and Harry Maguire play together, it actually just allows Harry to get on with his job. And I think that's what I think Eric brings such a much major impact to the team and a boost. Because Aaron Bissaka was attacking today. Why? Because Bailly has pace to cover. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like it's you know what? We criticize players as much as the same way we give them praise, right? And there's no coincidence, guys, that our fullbacks were so comfortable going forward, knowing they had pace at the back. Harry Maguire is a good defender. Whoever tells you he's not, it's just an agenda. Look, he might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he's a good defender.
He's a great defender, in my opinion.
What will make him better? Someone that excels at his weaknesses, a bit more physical, a bit more braver, and more athletic and pace. Eric Bailly, okay? And I saw my right back and I saw my left back, and I was thinking, yeah, because Eric's got pace. Do you know? And it's just those fine margins. That's why I think Eric is so major key to obviously what we do and how we defend, because I'm confident in us being able to defend against teams, yeah. A lot of teams have fast strikers that I know in a race, Harry's not catching.
No chance.
Do you know what I mean? And that's not his fault.
I'm going to say, you said a lot of teams. I'm going to go with basically every team except for.
Oh, there you go. Okay, every single
when Giroud starts, that's the only one I think would be a fun race to watch.
There you go. But like in a foot race, he's not winning it. But with Bailly, Maguire likes to nick it. He likes to try and go forward. That suits Bailly because Bailly will just drop the 5 and the pace in a foot race. I'm very competitive. He'll be very competent in catching people or even nicking the ball off them. And I just think that we need to give Bailly his flowers, but we also need to protect this guy because historically, he gets injured a lot. He's like chocolate. He breaks under pressure. And people forget, when he first came to Man United, he was just, it was just like, it felt like we had Yap Stam and Rio Ferdinand one.
I remember it was Jose's best signing when he came in. I remember thinking,
30 million.
why you go and get Jose Mourinho? Because he goes and finds these guys. That's what I remember thinking. And then the injuries, it's just unfortunate, like what happens with his body. And I know muscle injuries are something you can't really avoid in some players. But you're right. We have to protect him. And we also have to protect him by hopefully getting a center back with some of those similar qualities. I'm not saying you need to replace him, because I do believe for any title charge, for any team to have a chance, you have to have a rotation of probably 4 solid center backs. Like you can't be sitting there being like, well, if Maguire goes down, we're done. Or if Bailly goes down, we're in trouble. You can't have that mentality. So we really need to cover him in that space. But for now, I think what Ollie's doing with picking him, and I know some might say it's because Lindelof's injured or whatnot, but I don't believe Lindelof will get back into the team anytime soon. From what I've seen, if Ollie's a man of his word, and it seems to be, he's going to play the players who are playing the best on the pitch. And right now, Eric Bailly is by far, I think, probably one of our top players, along with Mr. Paul Pogba, who I pray and hope that we can win this title, and Pogba can say, I've had a change of heart. I can win the Champions League here. I can win everything here, because Pogba's about winning, and that's what makes him happy. Now, I don't believe it'll happen, because at the end of the day, he does seem to want to leave, but winning is everything. Noah, Paul Pogba, his influence on the game. I kind of wanted to chat with you about how you felt Paul Pogba's influence has gone, how you felt about him being further up the pitch today, because that's kind of, he was basically out on left wing for most of the game. It felt like that was the space he was occupying. How do you feel about his performance?
Yeah, no, I was very happy with his performance. I felt like, the advanced position that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave him, particularly on the left, when he's played in previous games, he's been at left centre mid. I feel like that's like one of his suited roles, because one thing that Paul Pogba, as he did today, that one thing he does do is the long balls and the ones he plays that cut along the defensive line. And I saw time and time again, Aston Villa's left back. I apologize, I can't remember who it was, but when Marcus Rashford was at right wing, Paul Pogba would look up on the left and play a long through ball over to Marcus Rashford, and he would receive the ball, and he'd have plenty of space to pick out a man in the middle. And that's one thing that he does. But one thing he was also doing today was he was picking up the ball and he was driving with it. And that's something that I think, which probably frustrates a lot of people with Paul Pogba, is that he doesn't do that enough. He doesn't show that commitment. He doesn't have that drive necessarily that, say, example, Bruno shows, like game in, game out. Which obviously is annoying. But the fact that he did it tonight was fantastic, because particularly in the first half, I think he was running rings around Aston Villa's midfield. I think whilst John McGinn wasn't playing bad necessarily, I think Paul Pogba was completely bossy. I think there was one instance when he controlled the ball perfectly on his chest, just flicked it off, and then just continued running. And I was just like, "That's the Paul Pogba." Yeah, that's the Paul Pogba we know and love, though, and that's what Hopefully, because one thing I was thinking as well was that with Paul Pogba, obviously, if we were to win the league, it would be great if we could keep him. But one thing also why he might be playing so well is that Solskjaer may have sat down with him recently because of Mino Raiola's comments and said, "Look, you're a great player, and we want to keep you. But obviously, if you don't want to be here, then I can't change your mind. But all I ask, which is what Ferguson said to Ronaldo when he left for Real Madrid, is just give us these 6 months, give us these last 6 months, and just play with your heart out and leave on a high, and I'll let you leave at the end of the season, to wherever he wants to choose."
Yeah, that's the 100 M's that we need to go buy Jack Grealish to properly replace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you said what you said, and I 100% agree with you. And I think, see, the thing about Paul Pogba is we know what he's capable of. Unfortunately, he doesn't do it consistently. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that he's never fully been played in his actual position. And when I say actual position, I'm not going to say 10 or on the left of a 3. I'm going to say in the position where he's most effective. Okay. And today we saw, people will say it was a diamond. I personally thought it was a 4-2-3-1. And him and Bruno were exchanging positions, which is good because Cash and McGinn didn't know who to go with at times, which is quite good. Ollie tactic again, just shouting that out. Mm-hmm. Do you not think that if you have Paul Pogba, you play him in the best position possible, where he's effective? Because see, do you know what the good thing about today was, guys? Was just that we saw McTominay and Fred, and we know what they provide. Okay, stability, screening, anti-football, whatever. Get the ball, win the ball back, give it to Pogba and co. But was it not refreshing not seeing Pogba do that job?
Yep.
Had him higher up the park. What's your thought on that?
So the way I see it's a good question, man, because the way I see it is Pogba's best role is a free roamer. And the problem with that being your best position in most teams is it's hard for most teams to accommodate that player, which is the problem we've had for years, not building around Paul Pogba. That's been a real thing. Like everybody who comes for Paul Pogba and their agenda is saying he doesn't put in a shift for the team. Oh, look at what Bruno did when he came in. Bun that. I don't want to hear that. The truth be told is Pogba has always kind of been best when he's allowed to roam, except for in France where he didn't need to have that role because in France, they're so good. Didier Deschamps was like, no, you sit and you feed people. That's what you do. But when he played at Juventus and when we've seen him at his best with Mourinho at his best, Mourinho let that man fly around the park. He did. He literally was like, I trust Matic. He let Pogba do what he could until he got upset when Pogba kept doing it when he didn't want him to. And that's where the break happened. So I agree with you. I think letting Pogba play, because I actually think he was on the left. I personally think that he was put out on the left to start the game and then dropped in the midfield. Doing that with a Paul Pogba causes menace for teams. If you don't know where Pogba's going to be on the pitch, if you're thinking, okay, 1 second he's playing out on the left, now he's back in the midfield, now he's over at the right, and you're saying that pivot with Bruno switching where, Manny Cash had no idea where to go. None of the defenders knew what to do with Pogba. The dummies, they kept doing all those dummies for a reason because when you have that many ball players on the pitch at the same time, we're unpredictable. And that's finally something we're seeing where Ollie ball, freestyle football. No, Ollie style is being unpredictable. That is a big part of what he does. And if you can't see that, then you haven't been watching football as long as I have. And I've been watching for like 10 years. There's people who out there for 20 years saying he doesn't have his patterns of play, pass to play, this and that. And I'm like, part of what Ollie does is leave the other team guessing. He wants his forwards to interchange. He doesn't want people to be like, I know for a fact Rashford's going to make that run. He wants the unpredictability. That's how I see it. That's my how Pogba.
No, I agree with you, man. And I'm just. Do you know what it is? Yeah, I know it's the first day of the year and stuff. I just feel like, do you know what? I feel like I've got my team back. I'm like, this is what we're. I'm just like, you know when you've had a tough day at your job and you come home, you get a beer or whatever you drink, and you just go. Do you know what I mean? Like. You just satisfaction feeling, man, because I was so happy because you talk about, I said about Cats and you said as well, like when Pogba came inside, they sometimes were following him and then you just saw Shaw come up. It was just like, and I'm watching, I'm thinking, but Ollie doesn't have tactics or phases of play. Shut up. do you know what I mean? Like, come on.
It's gotten ridiculous. And one thing I noticed today, which we did well, Ollie didn't have one of his favorite plan Bs, which is Cavani. That's another part of his game. But what we saw today was Cavani's influence on this team. I don't just knock my mic down. I'm so excited. I don't care what anybody says. Anthony Martial does not have that ball in before Cavani has taught him how to do. I'm sorry. That was such a. It looked. If you put some long hair on Anthony Martial, painted him right, exactly how Cavani scored the one. I can't remember which goal it was. In that game where we came back, scored 3.
Southampton.
It looked identical. The movement, just the way he got his head on it, the whip on the ball, using this pace of the ball to guide into the net. Oh, Anthony Martial player I want to talk about because he's coming into form. People like to talk about, Martial's trash or this or Rashford that. Nobody was thinking about what happens when Martial returns to the man who put 23 past everybody last year. What happens? What happens when everybody's playing the way they're playing right now and Martial comes to play with them? We're seeing it now. I know, like, we didn't play amazing today, but Martial's hold-up play. Noah, what did you think today about just Martial's overall game? Because I want to give that guy some praise because he had a great game and he's been taking a lot of criticism.
Yeah, well, in the past match reviews, I've been giving him quite a bit of criticism because I've labelled him as a striker who can do everything but finish. And as you said, you made a great point about how Edison Cavani, even when not on the pitch, is influencing the team. And his goal, as you said, was just it was the perfect striker's movement and like the perfect header. He headed it downwards past Emi Martinez, and Emi Martinez he couldn't do anything about it. And that's perfect natural striker's instincts. You think back to a couple years ago, like was Martial really doing that? Not really. But he's doing it now, and he's doing it when it matters in games like this, and that's the big thing. And the big thing with Martial as well is that he's a confidence player. I think a lot of people have noticed that. His body language when he's not up for it or when he's like not getting the ball in the position that he wants or he's wasting his chances is very down in the dumps, like very heavy, and his movement is lacking. But today, when he's getting that service provided to him, when he's looking up for it and he's making that movement, he scores goals. And the thing is why he not only does he score goals, he creates space for others. His hold up play is what I would say for me one of the best players in the Premier League, if not the world, at holding up the ball and spreading it wide to other positions. Because one of the reasons why someone like Luke Shaw was doing so well tonight is because Luke Shaw was able to get into the positions because Martial would go up to someone like Tyrone Mings, Konsa, or Cash. He would hold up the ball, wait. He'd be able to hold it up, not only hold it up, he'd hold it there for 5-10 seconds, wait for Shaw to make his run, then play it perfectly. And and that's the thing that Martial does. Not only is he a striker that's, seems to be getting his finishing back and, back on form, potentially 10, 15 goals this season. I'm hoping he can provide that for us.
I think he'll get us at least 15. That's what I'm feeling in all comps.
But the thing is, he provides so much more than just scoring, and that's one thing that I will never say we should ever sell Anthony Martial, because whilst I do think we do need a natural goal scorer that can score 20+ goals a season, someone like Erling Haaland or another version of that, I do think we need that. But Anthony Martial should never be sold. He should remain at this club unless obviously he wants to move, because the thing that he brings to other players like Paul Pogba, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, even Bruno Fernandes at times when he's trying to get into space, it's brilliant. And like I said, I genuinely believe he is one of the best players in the world, at least in the Premier League, at holding up the ball and spreading it wide. Because as we saw today, these are good defenders that we're talking about. Aston Villa, Tyrone Mings and Matty Cash are not bad players.
He's a big
player. That's mean. Tyrone Mings is much taller and much stronger than Anthony Martial, and he was holding them off and rolling the ball like it was nothing. He was just superb today in that aspect. And, I'm really happy for him that he managed to get a goal against a team that doesn't concede a lot, because that would just boost his confidence a lot more. And hopefully he can keep going.
I think it would be like see for Martial, right? I had this chat with Robbie, and Robbie was like, I think we should sell him. And I was like, I can see what you're saying. But for me, the funny thing is like, we're not going to spend 150 million on a centre forward. Okay. Do you know the funny thing is, if Martial done what he done at another club last season, we'll go buy him.
It's true. It's very true. It's very, very true.
Yep. So he'd be on our short list.
So why is it that we've got him, right? Look, it's like strikers. He's not the first striker to go on a drought. Do you remember a certain Harry Kane for a historic part of time? Never scored once in August.
last year, even remember when he went on that really big drought, and then he came back and he scored, and he lied down on the pitch because he was so relieved. He was just like,
do you know what I mean? So we just need to remember. I think what players need to remember, and I've got to exaggerate emphasizing this. You play for Manchester United, mate. So whatever you do gets scrutinized 100 times more. Okay, come on. The strikers at Fulham or any other club that doesn't score, 15, 20 goals, what Martial does, no one makes noise. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is getting praised because he scored more than 9 goals or something. They're like, oh, this is amazing because it's unheard of. But when you're at Man United, why should we give you praise? Media, this is the media. Why should we give you praise for something you should be doing? Do you see what I'm trying to say? And because it's Man United, and what people don't realize, right? If you in the media, all these majority of the media, the reporters, journalists are Liverpool fans. I used to watch a program called The Sunday Supplement, a majority of them that used to go on would admit, yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan, but so for a long time, 30 years, they weren't happy writing about us winning clubs and stuff like that. And they've had their 2 years, their chests are out, you know? So we need to remember that. And I'll go back to what I said. You play for Man United, you know, deal with it. This is the pressure that's going to happen. And do you know what I loved about his goal today? He scored a header.
Yeah.
Just unlike him, people say he can't do this, can't do that. He's holding up the ball like the big center.
He doesn't score the dirty goals. He doesn't get his head in there. He doesn't.
For me as well, he was holding up the ball better than Lukaku ever did for us. And Lukaku's has a much bit. And you know, Lukaku had to bulk up. Mourinho wanted him to bulk up to try and do that role, but Martial doesn't need to do that. He still has his pace and his dribbling ability, and he can do it better than Lukaku ever did. And that's, you know, you can't take that away from him, in my opinion. I think
it's very true. The hold-up play has been a big part of what Ollie wants him to do. I'm gonna be honest. Like I go at Firmino when he doesn't score goals, but I've always said he's a brilliant player, and we're starting to see a similar player in Martial in the way what he brings to the squad. And like I agree with you, we can never sell Martial, in my opinion, unless he wants to leave. Don't sell him. Rashford, Martial, Bruno, like these guys are. They need to be part of the furniture, and we need to start building something like that. We need to get back. Like when Bob says we got our club back, we need these guys to stick around to truly have that become a very integral part of what we do moving forward. I own a Martial kit. I own a Pogba kit. There'd be nothing I'd love more. And I'm one of those people with Pogba to be like, yeah, I changed my mind. I'm staying. But I look at it and I wanted to talk kind of about the future and the competitions coming up, because we do have a lot of competitions coming up. And I'm starting to think, okay, how are we going to navigate these games? Because it is, I think you were saying with the Winslow Watford game, it's next week, midweek.
Yes. I don't know the exact date or time of it, but I know it's sometime next week.
I would love for Ollie to just be like, you know what, Bruno, you're not getting in at all. Like if we lose this game, we lose this game. But Bruno, you're not getting in. Van de Beek, you get your start. You get to prove something. Did you guys actually see?
That's the semifinal.
Yeah. It's the FA Cup. I can't remember if it's the
the FA Cup. I believe comes first, and then I think because United play Burnley on which is in the league on the 12th of January. So I think next week or the week coming up is just the FA Cup midweek against Watford at home. Mm-hmm. And then it's the one-legged semi-final tie against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah,
which was huge game.
So I wanted to, and you guys tell me if you're feeling what I'm saying here, but I want to. Okay, Van de Beek, you haven't been on the team. You get to start at the 10. Bruno, Rashford, you're nailed to the bench. I'm sorry, you don't get in. If we lose,
don't even travel. Don't even
travel. You guys put your feet up, relax. Give Martial a little bit more time, because Martial had his time. Like I look at Martial's time as he had those 3 games out. He has had a little bit more rest than the other players. And Martial is a confidence player, kind of like Pogba, where it's like, if Martial can bang 2 or 3 past Watford, bringing him up against City, he's going to be up for it. He's going to be feeling good. So let Martial lead the line in that game, because we already know Cavani's not going to be available. Have Donny van de Beek come in. Maybe bring in a youngster. Maybe bring in a police street
for me.
Let him go on the right side. Let Daniel James run on the left. Play the game that way, because I want to see us win everything. And I know Ollie, being who he is and being from the old school, he looks at every one of these competitions as they're important. Mm-hmm. He doesn't look at a single one and say, I'm throwing it away, but he's also smart in how to manage this team. So I want to see us play a weaker side, I should say. Our weaker sides look phenomenal nowadays. Play a weaker side. Go into the City game with confidence. Even if you lose the Watford game, it's okay. I want everybody out here to know that I'm saying I will not be upset. I will not say a word. If we lose that Watford game, I will be like, shrug. Go into the City game with some confidence, because if we can beat City in a semifinal, this is, I'm going to get a little giddy here, guys. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to start the year, Jan 1 has us sitting top, then goes and beats Mr. Pep Guardiola in a semifinal, and sets up a final with Jose Mourinho, and he has the potential. Or Brentford. Yeah, I'm just imagine the Ollie Judge comes in and we beat City, and then it's Brentford we're staring at for a Cup. Yo, I want it to be Tottenham, and the reason I want it to be Tottenham is because that 6-1 loss, I keep saying, everybody brings it up about how we got battered. And I'm like, yo, why does everybody talk about this game like Martial didn't go out in the 20th minute?
That's their trophy, though.
You talk about that game like we weren't flying at the start of it. We looked really good that game until Martial went out. And it looked like it was going to be a back and forth game. So I wanted to get revenge on Tottenham. And I want Ollie to say, I beat Pep and Jose on the way to my first trophy. And then just sit back and listen to all the others and be like, what now? Like, what else? Like, I get it. It's just one. It's not the biggest cup, but it's a trophy, and it's more than everybody who wanted Poch has done. So I want to see us navigate this next round of competitions. That's going to tell me a lot about Ollie. It's going to tell me a lot about the players and the guys on the bench and how badly they want it. Because you should be, if you're on a United B squad, you should be looking at Watford like a snack. It should be easy. It shouldn't be a problem, and you should go out and play that way. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel about those fixtures coming up. And then, of course, the all-important Liverpool one, which I'm not going to get into because we'll do a preview for that.
Yeah.
But, how do you feel about those next run of games, the Watford?
To be honest, I'm greedy. I'll say this because I need to dip, but I'm greedy. I want it all. You know, Alex Ferguson used to say, any competition Man United are in, they always look to aim to win it. Roy Keane said that there's no point being in the league, being Man United, and not trying to win the league. And there's no, I mean, I know things have changed. We're like, yeah, top four, blah, blah, but listen now, you can't chat to me anything. Go for the League Cup. Be aggressive. It's a one-off semi-final. And we've shown in a one-off game, pound for pound, we'll outscore anyone. And also, I think City are there to be got at, sorry. And you know the old saying, one game at a time. I think the FA Cup game, I'm not really bothered if we get beat. I'm not bothered because I think probably less run of games might work in our favour. You know, the pile up, you know. And you never know, guys. God forbid, we might see another COVID breakout might happen. We don't know. So I agree with every word you said, Cam, because we need to be ruthless. This is the first trophy up for grabs. And it'll be in Ollie's head. He lost 3 semi-finals last year.
But yeah, that's the key thing.
Do you know? And I'm just going to leave it on that because he'll be thinking, I probably should have done better in the FA Cup one against Chelsea. You know, because that hurt.
We were better than them all year.
Exactly.
One game you drop.
Exactly. And then and what made it even worse, we finished above them in the league. do you know? So I think if he goes aggressive at that and just goes to win it, because if he beats Pep and he beats Jose Mourinho, listen, I can tell you what already I'm gonna wear the cup final day. I'll tell you what I'm drinking. Listen, I might even buy a cigar. do you know, wear one of those Papi Chulo hats and listen. Hey, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And I'll go live with you guys. I don't even want to talk to anyone. I'll just sit there. But listen, gentlemen, I need a jet, yeah. But listen, thank you for bringing me onto this amazing squad.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Brilliant to rap with you guys. And you know what? I look forward to 2021 with you guys, 100%.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun, man.
God bless. Good night.
All right.
Have a good night, man. Noah, so before we end the stream, I wanted to hear your thoughts about the comps coming up because, I mean, they're coming in fast and strong. And I know we're both hoping for the same thing. Like we all, but how do you feel about how we should be navigating the games coming up? And
yeah, well, I mean, you know, I as you said, I do think you know, with the heavy schedule coming up, that, you know, squad rotation is important. I really don't want to see many starters in there. I'd only want to see those who are experienced. Say, for example, the likes of Mata. Maybe he gets a run out.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, Dean Henderson. Maybe Brandon Williams, those kind of players, and obviously I think Anthony Martial should start just to keep building on top of his confidence, because he does need it. And I think, you know, whilst some people say, oh, it's only against Watford, but those couple goals can do the world of good for a player. I mean, I remember, I think back to when Jose Mourinho was playing a cup game. I think it was against Brentford, and I think Jesse Lingard was instrumental in that performance. And the next 5-6 games after that, he was starting and he was, you know, playing brilliant. You know, he had that time when we were losing to Burnley at home, and he brought it back, and he was our only saving grace. Obviously, now that looks a bit weird. But you know, it can do the world of good, these types of games, to build confidence, and also to let some players who don't get opportunities a lot or at all, like have a
It'd be
chance to
good to have
shine.
like Axel get in there as well.
Yeah, Axel. I think Palestri, because he's been doing so well in the youth academy. I think he should probably get a game. Because apart from Mason Greenwood, who I don't think should start, I think there's not a lot of players on the right or left necessarily that United have in their main squad. So maybe bringing someone up like Palestri, because I would love Amad Diallo, who I know is trying to sort out his passport and everything to come straight in and play that game. But I think it would be way too risky just to chuck him in straight away. But I think Palestri, who's been warming up and developing his game in the United Academy, would be great. Maybe Tiden Mengi, if Ollie wants to be that adventurous. I mean, I don't see it, but if he wants to, I'm down to see Tiden Mengi. I remember when we played, I think, Astana in the Europa League. I thought he was excellent, and he's always been excellent for the youth academy. He's their captain, and he's always. Well, I mean, there was an instance the other day when I think the United Academy lost, and I think Medjugorje, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was like shaking hands or hugging one of the opposition players, and Tiden Mengi was like, that's why we didn't win today. Too many friends are not enough enemies. And that was just like, that's what we need in the main squad, to win trophies, let alone in the youth academy. And I thought that was perfect. And that's why I think, if Ollie wants to be adventurous and give Tiden Mengi a start against Watford, I'm perfectly happy and down to see that. I think we need to rotate for Watford, especially with Manchester City coming up, because that is a huge game. Ollie's fourth semi-final, a chance to break that kind of curse and get one over local rivals, get one over Pep, and to just keep building that mentality that this Manchester United team can win anything and everything they put their mind to, and I think that's the key. So that's what I would say. So rest players and give some youth players a chance, and give players who need game time and confidence like Van der Beek and Martial a start against Watford, and then in the Man City game, full strength. David De Gea, Marcus Rashford, Bruno, all those guys in there, and let's beat Pep, let's beat Man City, and let's get to that final in the Carabao Cup.
I agree. With that being said, I just want to end it on probably my favorite part of what happened today was at the end of the game when the players mugged Eric Bailly. They mugged him. They picked him up. They dragged him around. And for anybody watching this back and who thinks I may have spelled immense wrong, I spelled it with an E on purpose because of Eric Bailly and how he played. It was just fantastic. And what a way to start the year. So thanks for coming on. I look forward to the next run of games. I hope they keep coming in fast and strong. I'm glad the Prem came out and said there isn't going to be a break, because we don't need that break right now. We need to keep playing football. And that being said, anybody watching back, like, subscribe, and we'll be here all year, hopefully for a title charge. Let's go.